Good morning, YouTube. I am Bearded Ink, and it has been a minute, but we're back, and we have a brand new tutorial for you today for you PNG tubers or wannabe PNG tubers, or just a regular streamer that maybe doesn't want to be on camera today. We have a great free program for you to use that makes things super simple, super easy, works with OBS, any other program. And it's completely free. Did I mention that? It's free. It's Veadotube. I'm probably mispronouncing that because I'm not French. Neither is the program, but anyway, Veadotube. That's how I say it. That's how it's going to be said today. Here we go. All right. So you're going to need a couple of things. Obviously, if you want to be a PNG tuber or have the option to be a PNG tuber, you can do several things. One, you can just put a PNG on your OBS and connect it like we did with the TTS mascot and just make that connected to your microphone instead of to your TTS, which works, but you're limited to like 2 images, right? Or you can use a program called Veadotube. And let's go here. This is the website, link in the description below. You'll come right here. And what we're looking at is the Veadotube Mini. That's the one on the left with the green background over here. Veadotube, the regular full program, is a paid program. Okay, just going to cover this real quick. It is in early access, and it gives you a little bit more control, has more webhooks for like WebSocket clients and things like that to connect to things, but so does Veadotube Mini. And for probably about 95% of you out there that want to do this and use a PNG as a PNG tuber full time, Veadotube Mini is going to be pretty much all you need, and it is free. It will always be free according to the dev. But if you want the extra things, and you can come to the website and take a look, because we're not going to really cover the Veadotube main program here today. You can see here the differences between the two, right? But what we want to do is we want to come in here on this left side on the green page, and you want to click the download for free. It is available for Windows, Linux, and Mac. Okay, we're going to cover the Windows version because obviously that's what I'm using. All right, click the button. It's going to say it's free. It connects to itch.io, so you can go directly to itch.io also if you want. You can give the developers some money here, and then you get your versions. That everything will be included in the download. If you don't have the money with you right now, you can always come back and pay later, or you can donate through the website and just click right here where it says no thanks, take me to the downloads. And we're going to go ahead and do that. And here you are. Here are the downloads. You want to make sure that you are on a 64-bit version. If you are not, sorry, upgrade. It's time. This is what updated last February 2025. And they work really well. So we're going to go ahead and download the Windows version. If you are on Linux or Mac, go ahead and grab those versions as well. I'm going to save this to my desktop. Well, I will show you real quick, if you are on Mac or OS X or Linux, the read docs button down here will take you to a page, and then you can come in here to installation. This is just a little docs page on the website here, and then just go down here to your pro or your operating system, whether it's Linux or Mac, and they will have the exact process for installing and getting everything running on your system. But for those of you that are on Windows, we're ready to go. Okay, so here's what we're going to have. What you're going to need. You're going to need the Veadotube Mini program that we just downloaded, and you're going to need some PNGs. So I have some here with just a little dude, that we're going to use, this guy here. And as you can see, I have 3 different folders. I got neutral, happy, and angry, because with PNG, you're not stuck with just one expression. So you can go to places like Etsy or Gumroad, different places such as those, to find pre-made PNGs if you want. That's what I did. I got these guys off of Etsy. They're fairly cheap, you know. But what you want to look for is PNG packs with multiple expressions, and your expressions are going to be like your moods, like you're happy, you're sad, you're angry, you're frustrated. And some of them will have like 1 or 2, some will have 3 to 5. but you can have as many as you want. And if you're artistically inclined and you want to keep it completely free, you can make your own. Veadotube Mini will support PNG, animated GIF, animated PNG, and WebP as well. So you have multiple file types that you can use if PNG is not something up your alley, or if you want a little bit more animation. So you're going to need your PNGs, and obviously the bare minimum that you need is one, right? Two would be better, right? So open mouth and closed mouth. But you can also, we're going to have 4-state PNG, right? With multiple expressions. And I'm going to show you how to do all that. So the 4 states are open mouth and closed mouth with open eyes. And then you have open mouth and closed mouth with closed eyes. And then the Veadotube program will swap between them to make it look like you're blinking and talking. Okay, so we're going to cover that, but we're going to start with the neutral expression just to get the base set up and show you the program. And then we'll add happy and angry and then show you how we can swap between those while we're streaming. So we're going to go ahead and minimize this guy down here because we're going to go focus on the program itself. Now, like StreamerBot and a few other streaming programs that we cover on this channel, Veadotube is a standalone program. So there is no need for installation or anything like that. It will put one hidden file called Veadotube in your app data directory. That's just so it remembers the states and things like that, the settings that we use. But, you know, other than that, there's no install, right? So we're just going to extract this right here to our desktop. I suggest, as always, that you put it somewhere permanent, right? Have your streaming folder, which we talked about a lot on this channel, and just have it there. So when it opens up after the extraction, you're going to be in the folder and you're going to find Veadotube Mini.exe, and that's what we want to click on. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom out real quick so you can see this badass program. When you double click on it, you'll probably get this little pop-up if you're on Windows, because it is a standalone exe. It's not installing. Windows is like, hey, so you just click the little I don't care, and then run anyway. It is completely safe. And then here's your program. Look, this is it. This is it right here. So we're going to go ahead and close this in the background just so you can see. This is all you have right here. Okay. And then when you're greeted here with this screaming deer coming out of a cannon or whatever, you can see how it's already kind of reacting to my microphone. And that's over here with the settings. Here, we're going to cover everything on the left is the settings for the program, and then everything on the right over here is the settings for the avatar itself. And as you can see, it comes with the 1 state already. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. But first, let's talk about the left side over here. So here's your microphone, and if you click on the microphone settings, you can see it will come with some noise reduction if you like. I usually leave all of these pretty much default, because I have the filters and everything set up elsewhere for my microphone. But if you don't, you can go through their Cirrus, Oculus, Celero, and Oculus for noise reduction, and then your device. So all of your input devices will be listed here. You just select the one you want. If you want this to be on push to talk, which if you're a live streamer, you probably don't. You already have push to talk like on your Discords or whatever, but you still want, you know, you to be looking like you're talking. But if you want to, you can assign a shortcut for that, you know, Alt Q or something. I don't know, whatever you want. And then that way you have to press those for it to actually pick up your microphone. And then if you're using a WebSocket client, for more advanced users, Veadotube Mini has a couple of payloads that it will send and receive, so that you can connect it to like your Stream Deck, StreamerBot, other bots, and things like that. So you can actually have like hotkeys or even commands in your chat to change a few things. But that's more advanced, and we're just going to get you up and running today. If you want the more advanced tutorials, like how to set it up with WebSockets, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know, and we'll get that put up for you. But today we're going to try to keep it simple. So now that we have our microphone, we'll click on microphone again, And you can see here that we have the blue and the green. Now the green, as I talk, you can see how it's going up and down, right? This is the volume. So what you want to do is you kind of want to talk into your microphone and see where this kind of bottoms out while you're talking. So if I were to like, Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Okay, so right here about where my mouse is. Now, when I'm using my normal speaking voice, this is about the bottom it's going to be. So the little arrow here, you can drag this up and down, and the higher it is, the louder you have to be to activate the avatar, right? And then the lower it is, the quieter you can be. So you can actually be still pick it up, right? You want to keep this somewhere, you know, a little bit lower than where you found your mouse. So again, I usually just like say something like sing the Mary Had a Little Lamb song, or just talk nonsense words without taking a breath. So I can kind of see where the bottom of it is, right? So my bottom, like I said, the bottom of my range here is about 18, or well, here is about 27%. And if you click on this, it'll go to that point, so you don't have to like remember, right? But I want to be about right here. And then what I like to do is drag it down a little bit just to cover any nuances. Like if I look away from the microphone, I might drop below that higher threshold. Okay, so find somewhere where when you are speaking in your normal voice, everything turns green and you can see it's here, but you don't want it so high that it never turns off, right? And then this is the delay. So the blue button means it's not going to swap to the other picture to show you not talking or whatever until this delay happens. And this is a top to bottom, so it's the opposite. So if you want this down a lot, so here it's going to be me talking for a whole second before it switches over, right? And normally you don't want any delay, so you just leave it at the very top at 0 milliseconds. But sometimes you might want a little bit of delay, and this will be helpful if you're using like animated GIFs and things like that to help them run through their progression. But it doesn't really matter, you know, just find something that suits you well. All right. And then we have the display settings, the little grid icon here. And then here you see the avatar scale auto. You can also do this 1x, 2x, 3x, 4, 5, 6, all the way up and all the way up and huge. We're not going to do all that. Let's just, you can make it big, right? Because any image you put in here is going to automatically be downscaled. So you want to don't add super large images, right? 1024 by 1024 square is probably about the largest that you want to put in. You can put in 4K resolution things, but they're going to be minimized anyway. So the auto scale, if you want to make it bigger in the program, but typically you leave this to auto. The scale multiplier will tell you how much you can do it manually here, like you can see here. But we're just going to leave everything pretty much default, 100%, 101. So the offset, obviously your X and Y axis, these bars will move it to the left and right or up and down, you know, so you can get a better view of it if you need to. The movement scale, this is how much it moves when you have set to move. Like this is default set to shake when you're talking, and you can see that, or you can just turn that off so it barely does it at all, right? And that's where I'm going to leave it. Your background color, if you want to, if you need to capture like green screens and stuff like that, you can set that color there. And when you hover out, obviously that's all that you're left with. Let me zoom out just real quick here for you. So when you mouse over the program, you can see that the thing automatically disappear, right? And then you just have this green screen. Leave it to the default green for most people, but if you need to change it to like a blue or a red so it doesn't interfere with other things on your stream, that's fine. And that's what the color picker is for. All right, we're almost there. Program settings, these you can pretty much leave alone. If you want to change any of this stuff, you can. Obviously the frame rate, if you are using the spout like that they have for VTube Studio, that connects here as well. Your WebSocket server and all of its information. Keep all states loaded. We want that on. Hide the UI on focus. That's what this does, right? So when we come in. That's what this does. And then hide the background grid. So if we leave this off, you can see that there's a little grid, and that just helps you line stuff up when you're using these kind of things here. So we can go, oh, okay, we want it more this way and more that, you know, whatever, right? Okay, that's what that's for. And then you can just hide the UI, and then you have to double click to bring it back. We don't really want that. We just like the hover thing. But if you have the program open, which it does need to be open and not minimized, otherwise it'll stop responding. You can open it like behind OBS, but if you happen to have it somewhere where your mouse is going to constantly be going over it, you might want to turn the hide UI on, right? Because otherwise it will do this and it will show up on your screen or on your stream when you mouse over. So keep that in mind. And then we have the avatar settings. So here you can load a mini avatar if you get those. So these are like from the different places that have like little mini avatars packs instead of doing individual PNGs. You can load those here for you if you want to, if you have those. Okay, let's zoom back in and we're going to go over to the right side now. Boom. And this is where you have all of your avatars. And so you can see there is 4 stages here. So, and it'll tell you when you hover over what each one is. So closed mouth image, open mouth image, closed mouth blinking, open mouth blinking, right? So this is where you add your pictures. So we're going to click on here and you can replace the image. And then we're just going to go here and we're going to find our PNG guy. We're going to find neutral, and we're going to say, what was it that you needed? I can't remember. Right. So let's just go here. This is closed mouth. So we want closed mouth. Okay. And we're going to come in here and go PNG neutral closed mouth. Right. So there he is, mouth closed. And we're going to open that guy up. There he is. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to go open mouth. So same thing, replace image, open mouth. Okay. And then we're going to say open, and then we're going to come in here, closed mouth blinking. So we're going to replace image again. So this is going to be closed mouth blinking, or closed mouth, closed eyes if your avatar or your PNGs are not named exactly blinking. So blinking is closed eye. Okay. And then open mouth, open eye, closed mouth, open eye. So no, blinking means closed eye. And then we have open mouth blinking. So we're going to go ahead and put that in here. Open mouth blinking. Okay. And now we completely replaced the deer. Now you can see that I have my little guy here, and every now and then he will blink, and you can see that too there as we're talking, or even if we're not talking, he'll still blink, right? So it's kind of cool. So it gives you a little bit more of a animation. And you can see I'm kind of shaking a little bit here when I speak. So if we go to the pencil, this is your state properties. And then we have the state effects, which is like this little screaming guy here. And then the key are our shortcuts. So let's go look at state properties now. So what we're going to do here, this is the state name. So we can just call this whatever our emotion is. So this is neutral. All right. The image mode, you can do smooth or pixelated if you like more of a, pixel animation style. And then the blink interval, right? So this is a 2-stage. So it's going to be a random blink between these 2 toggles here. So if you want no blink or you want a lot of blink, you can adjust that. And then they can just be like one of those that just blinks with every syllable, whatever you want. Default is pretty good though. But anywhere in this lower end range, and adjust it to however you like. And then the blink duration, how many milliseconds will it take for those 2 images with the closed eyes will they be on there? So a higher number obviously will be more like an eyes closed or a slow blink. And then shorter duration will be more like a natural blink. Okay. And then once you have those done, we're going to go to state effects. You don't have to have any at all. So if you don't want any, you just click the little X there, you delete it, and you can see right away my guy, he stopped shaking when I speak, right? And then if we click the plus button here, you'll see that there's darken. So this one will make it a little bit darker. And then of course you can adjust it and set it to active. So is it active during closed mouth, but not open mouth? And if we do that, then when I talk, you can see kind of, oh, I come to light. So this is good. Like if you're sharing this, doing the shared screen or whatever with another streamer, this one kind of puts you in the background, you know. But if you don't want the darken at all, obviously there. Also, you have the jump, so he can jump around. He's really excited. He's moving a lot. And again, you can have this only when you're talking or not, but with the jump, you kind of want this on both or only when you're talking, right? The off state kind of makes it look weird, but I would suggest jumping. You use both just to keep it a little more smooth. As you can see back here, it looks a little better, right? Also, we have random move, which will pick any of these and just kind of randomate. The wave here, this one's kind of just like a ooh, hypnotizing you, right? And you can go through and see what all these do. And then the wave rotate, that one's just going to kind of like rockabye baby there for you. But the cool thing is you can add as many as you want. So if we want like all of these, we can just kind of put all of them together and just make this really weird, awkward, I don't know, kind of hypnotizing actually, what we want. Okay, save for transition. So the transition is the jump. And this is when he's going to jump when it's transitioning between the images, open mouth and closed mouth. I like to leave mine just default. Just me sitting there talking because I'm not a very animated guy, but you may be more animated and that's what you want to do. And then finally, we have our state shortcuts. Okay. And this is going to be your hotkeys. So we can assign a shortcut and it's going to tell you waiting for input. That you can use your gamepad, your keyboard, a MIDI device, or your mouse. And or you can press the keyboard escape key to cancel this out. But I'm going to go ahead and do control, I don't know, 1. Okay, so now control 1 is assigned to this state, the neutral state. Okay, so if we can minimize this down now, and you can see that once we've got our neutral state, there's a little plus sign. So what we're going to do is it just copies your current state. So that's going to copy all of your settings. And then we're going to drop this down and you can see we're here. It's renamed it to neutral 2. So we're going to come in here and we're going to set our images for our next phase here, which is going to be happy. So I'm going to go in happy and we're going to do happy mouth, whatever this one was, mouth closed, right? So we'll say, okay. And then we have the mouth open. So we're going to replace that with the happy mouth open. And we're going to say, okay. And then again, the mouth blinking closed. And then mouth open, mouth blinking here. So now my guy is just super happy. And when I'm talking, he's great. He's a joyous fellow, right? And we can go in and do different state properties for here. So I'm just going to call this one happy. All right. I'm going to leave everything else the same, except for my state short key here. We're going to assign a new one, and this is going to be control 2, right? And you don't hit enter or anything like that. You do the input and then leave it for a second, and it will assign it. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, I decide I don't want this state, then we will delete it. And you can click the delete here. Otherwise, we're going to keep it. Okay, so now we have happy and neutral. Okay, and then we're going to come down here. We're going to copy another one. So we have neutral, happy. Now we're going to come in here. We're going to drop this down. And this is going to be our other one. Because we have 3 emotions. I'm not going to go crazy with it today. We have angry. So angry, mouth closed. Angry mouth open. Blinking mouth closed. And blinking mouth open. There it is. Okay. So now I have this state of this guy. He's angry, right? He's super angry. And we're just going to come in here, state properties. This one is going to be angry. Okay. We can say there. We'll come in here to our state shortcuts. Make sure you're on the right one, by the way. So here we are now highlighted. Angry is highlighted. Now when we come here, we can assign a shortcut. Boom, 3. Okay. And we're just gonna keep these all on press. So let me just go back here and double check that we're on press for all of our keys. Boop, 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 boop. There. Oh, one more. There we go. On press. Okay. So now you can see when I hover over, it'll tell you what your hotkey is for that. So Control 2 takes us to neutral. Control 1 takes us to happy. Control 3 takes us to angry. So now if we look at our guy and I press Control 1, we're going to be really happy. Maybe we just got a donation or a big raid. Hi guys. And, and then we can go back to our neutral state. And then, maybe somebody does a jump scare or we get killed in the game or something, we can go angry and then we get our little angry face on, right? And so you can see you can have the different states. And of course, these are just hotkeys, right? So if you're using things like StreamerBot, Mix It Up or whatever, you can just assign hotkeys to an action, to a reaction. So anytime you get bits, Control, 1, Control 2, whatever your hotkey is for your super happy face and things like that. All right. And basically, that's your program. Look, that's it, dude. That's all you got to do. And of course, you can have as many, there are unlimited states here. So don't be afraid to, like, we have the 3 emotions for this guy here. Let me go back to our neutral face. We have, the 3 emotions, right? But let's say, maybe I don't always want to be a little Grim Reaper gamer guy. Maybe I want to be something else. And so you can have multiple interactions or multiple PNG types, right? So you can have, I don't know, maybe let's just check another one out. I might have somewhere. Let's go replace image. I think I have some here. Let's see what I got in my graphics here. I might have some avatars here. And maybe I got, I don't know. What do I have? Discord. So like I got this little dude. All right, so I can just put him in there, and now I'm this guy, right? And so we're gonna name this one. We'll just come down here real quick. I'm just gonna name this guy Panda. Okay, so I got this little panda guy. So I got his where's Panda? Make sure you're on Panda. Okay, so close mouth, and then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna do open mouth. I think I did that backwards, but it's fine. You'll get the idea. And then all I got to do here is remove this image and remove the 2 states. So now he's just a 2-state guy, right? And I did do it backwards, so it looks a little funny. Let's change that. Now he'll talk when I talk. So this is my little panda dude, right? And then I can assign him a shortcut as well. And maybe we just do Control 4 to keep it simple. But now, so I'm doing my little Grim Reaper guy, whatever, and maybe I don't want to be a Grim Reaper for today's stream. I can switch over to be my panda guy, and then he can have his happy state, his angry state, his sad state, and then you can have even more. So you're not limited to just the one PNG, and they're all set to hotkeys to swap between at any time, whenever you want, right? So that's all you got to do. Super simple. And again, this is your states are pretty much unlimited. There isn't a limit on how many you can add. Okay. So now we have this program. We got to add it to OBS, right? And I told you that it does have to remain open. You'll see why in just a moment. But let's go ahead and open an OBS for us here so we can add it to it. So here I got my OBS open. This is one of my tutorial ones that I show you how to do stuff on. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go into our webcam here. There, hi, Am. Remember we did all this stuff. So we're just going to turn this off. What do I have? Oh, that's my mascot. We have our little mascot there. There are a few different ways that you can actually incorporate Veadotube into your OBS. Now, if you are familiar with like the VTube Studio and whatnot, there is a plugin for OBS called Sprout 2, and it basically takes VTube Studio's resources, kind of crunches them down so it's not using as much, but it is basically a video capture device specifically for these type of programs, and it does work with Veadotube, and it comes with transparency automatically, so you don't have to worry about the color of your background. It'll automatically remove that, right? But if you don't want to install the plugin, and I will leave a link to the Sprout 2 plugin in the description below. But if you don't want to do that, you can just do a game capture. And if game capture, for whatever reason, isn't going to work for you, you can do a window capture and then just have to crop it. So we're going to call this Veadotube, right? Just to keep it simple. And then we're just going to come in here. We're going to capture a specific, let me zoom in. We're going to capture a specific window, and then you're just going to look and we're going to get Veadotube Mini, right? And you don't want to capture your cursor, obviously, right? And you want to allow transparency. So we're going to say yes to that, just to help our thing, our filter that we're about to add. And now we have our little guy. He's on our screen here, but he's obviously, you know, green screened. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come in here and we're just gonna quickly add a filter. We're gonna click the plus under effect filters. We're gonna go to Chroma key, and then you don't have to do anything. It's already set to that green. I told you not to mess with the green color. This is why, because it's already set to all of these in the Veadotube. That background color, this green color that it is already the default for the OBS game capture. Okay, so we can click close on there, and now we have our little dude, and he's just there with a clear background, or he's on the starting soon. We can add that to our starting soon if you wanted to. We'll just add a new scene, and it was web camera. There's our little dude. There he is. He's on our screen. He's talking. But now you remember I told you this has to stay open, right? So if we were to minimize this down, the program is still open, but eventually it's going to stop as soon as it like loses focus. And it's not always, but especially if you're using like hotkeys and things like that, the change won't exactly happen, and it can lock up the program. So best practice is to leave the program up, fully functional like this here. Okay. And then just hide it behind OBS, right? So whatever monitor you have your OBS on, just keep it up in the background. And that's all you got to do. It's not going to bother you. It's not going to show up, anything like that. You'll still be able to have your full OBS. Just avoid minimizing it because it will eventually break down and stop responding. Now, apparently the new version that came out in February kind of fixes that, but I have noticed that it still happens every night. It just doesn't happen as fast. So you may notice, like if you minimize the program, right, you may notice that everything's working fine. But then you go to your BRB screen to go refill your coffee or go pee. And then when you come back, your PNGTuber, he's just not working or not responsive or not showing up at all. And then you're going to have to come in and maximize the program. So just leave it up, put it behind OBS. It doesn't ever have to be in focus, and our hotkeys will still work. We can still switch to angry, right? We can still be here. We can still switch back to neutral or be super happy, whatever our emote states are. It's still going to register and you're good to go. Okay. But that's it. There ain't much else to it. So there's not much else to tell you. So I'm going to get this out now, and I hope you enjoy it. All right. So let's just go back here. I hope you enjoyed Veadotube. I hope you get a lot of use out of it. And don't forget to go back if you are using it as your primary source of webcam material. You know, go back and throw the devs a couple bucks, right? Say thanks. And if you're interested in more advanced stuff, also that Veadotube, the main program goes, it's like an $8 a month subscription on their Ko-Fi, and you get access to their Discord as well for that section of their Discord for the primary use. And then of course, all of the features that come with the main program. Just keep in mind, it is still in early access, so some of the features may not work properly or may change, so you might not want to get used to those yet. But like I said, for most of us, most streamers out there that, you know, maybe you can't afford the whole or the whole VTuber thing with the rigging and all, because those things can get up into the thousands of dollars, right? Oh, crap. Right, that's a lot of money. And if you're just starting out, or if you're like me and you're primarily a webcam user, but every now and then you're just, I'm not doing a webcam today. This is a great, simple alternative that you can have on the go, right? Once you go through that setup that we just did, it'll be there forever, right? Until you go and manually change it. So close the program, move the folder if you need to, whatever. Like I said, it is a standalone program. And when next time you open it up, your little dude will be there ready to go. You won't have to redo everything at all. Right. So there you go. That's it. We're done. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. If you learned something new today, give us a little thumbs up down there. It makes me feel good. And if you like what you see and you want to see more tutorials, right, click the little subscribe button down below. It makes me feel validated, I guess. Thank you. Like I have friends. I love you all. For real. If you have further questions, something isn't working right, or if, like I said in the beginning, if you want to see how to incorporate this with like your bot through the WebSocket clients, stuff like that, you want me to do a tutorial on that, leave a comment about that down below and we'll get that in the works. But for most of us, this with the hotkeys and everything, super simple to use. That's going to be enough, right? So that's why I didn't go into all that, because we're here long enough. Okay, so enjoy Veadotube, enjoy your new PNG little dude on your screen that is representing you, and have a lot of fun with it. I hope you and your community enjoy it, and we'll see you next time. But until then, guys, take care of yourselves, because you matter, you are important, and we'll see you. Until then, love, peace, and chicken grease.